Blood Games is a 1990 exploitation film directed by Tanya Rosenberg and stars prolific stunt woman Laura Albert. A women's softball team win a game against a group of rough-talking and dirty-playing men. After being horribly attacked and assaulted by their male competitors, the women are forced to use both their wits and strength to escape their tormentors and avenge their teammates, but quickly find themselves trapped in a deadly cat and mouse chase through a nearby forest. Over the last couple of years, exploitation films have become one of my favorite type of movies. But I'm now happy to add Blood Games to that list, and this has quickly become one of my favorite exploitation films. What I wasn't expecting going into this film was how invested I would be in the characters. Blood Games is so much better than I had ever expected, and this release by Vinegar Syndrome is incredible. I'll get more into the specifics of this Vinegar Syndrome release later on in this review. The film starts out really light and funny. It has the typical type of exploitation vibe to it, and then there's a turning point where two of the girls get attacked by a couple of the men from the softball game because they're sore losers, and I honestly wasn't expecting for it to go as dark as it did, which made me love this film. And when any of the girls would get taken out by one of the hicks, I genuinely felt bad. And even on a rewatch, I loved this film even more. Everyone is all in and totally sell it. And it's better than it has any right to be. And even though it is an exploitation film, it never feels exploitative. The way the shots are set up when it's centering on the women, it's shot in a way that I would compare to Slumber Party Massacre, where it's not to sexualize the women's bodies, but to tick off the box for TNA. All the women in this film, they feel like they're friends. They feel like they're a close-knit group. And I so wish that Laura Albert had more leading roles because she is fantastic in this movie. She's such a badass, and so are the rest of the women. I also really liked Ken Carpenter as Mino Collins. Horror fans will probably recognize him as the cameraman from Hellraiser 3. He's so good at playing this over-the-top villain. That's not to say that this is great acting by any means, but for an exploitation film, it's really good. It's shot well, it's done in a very workman-like way. There are some really cool artistic shots, especially once we're in the forest. The film also feels very ambitious. It feels well crafted and well executed for a low-budget exploitation film. I really liked what Tanya Rosenberg was going for. Also, the final fight is badass, and there's some great stunt work in that scene. And speaking of stunt work, this film has loads of great stunts. I love the slipcase for this by Vinegar Syndrome. It feels really high quality. The embossing on the front, the back, and on the sides is also a nice touch. And the artwork on this is incredible. I would love this as a poster. Like with many other Vinegar Syndrome releases, this has reversible artwork. As far as the Blu-ray itself, this is a newly scanned and restored in 2K. Special features include playing a tough babe, an interview with actress Laura Albert, playing hardball, an interview with actor Ken Carpenter, the original theatrical trailer, and promotional still gallery. Blood Games is a fantastic revenge exploitation film that I had a ton of fun with. My only issues are minor nitpicks, and that has to do with some editing choices, but otherwise I love Blood Games, which is why I'm going to give it an instant classic. Despite it coming out in 1990, this feels like an exploitation film from the late 70s or early 80s. If you're a fan of films like I Spit on Your Grave or Miss 45, you'll most likely enjoy Blood Games. It's nowhere near as brutal as those two films, but do know that going in that it has some similarities when it comes to the revenge aspect. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support the channel even more, check out my Patreon page. Link, as always, is in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
I have been pushed around my whole life by lousy men, and I am sick of it. I say that we just give them a little taste of their own medicine right now.
And if you feel that's what you have to do,